Guys, how you going? I am Jake, and today we're going to be doing a video on KiCad. And in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps in the process of making a board and that sort of stuff. So what I decided to make today, or design, is a Max 6675 breakout board, which I actually want to get rid of that one because I was doing a previous video and didn't really work out. But the name's already there, so it's good. Yeah. Now, I specifically chose this type of board to make because you have to import a library in the schematic editor, and I thought that would be a good thing to go over, especially for a video. So we're going to start off by doing that, and then the way you do that is you go Preferences Library, then you go Add, and I have this in my documents, so we're just going to go Max, 6675 Library, and now the link for this one will be in the description. Credits to this guy, I've used this library tons of times for multiple different things. There's not just the Max 6675, there are other footprints and layouts on there as well, so I suggest you go check that out. The link I gave you, put in the description, will actually have an overview of the other parts in this one. So adding a library is just that easy. You just go add and find the file. Also, I'm pretty sure if you drop it into the library file, it could automatically be in there, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I just thought of that when I was having a look before. So parts we need for this one is a capacitor, two connectors, the Max 6675, and I'm pretty sure that's it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select by browser, and here's a library here. It can be in different places. You just have to look for it. If you press D, it comes up with that. So this is the Max 6675, 6675. Yeah, I'm trying to do this video, like organized, but coming out a bit quick. So it's easy to find, and with connectors you can search by browser and then go con and then have a look through here, and I'll give you all the different types of connectors I have. They have dual, inline, or alternatively, if you know how many pins you want and you know the keys for like the letters for it, you can type it in. So for a 2-pin connector, it's con_2. Press enter. I'm going to rotate that around to that side, and for a 5-pin connector, it's the same thing, just with a 5, and you got that there. For capacitors, you can probably download more libraries and add them so you get smaller capacitors. The default one, like you can usually use, is just C. Press enter, and you'll get this one. It's a very big footprint, or very big symbol, but it's not really too bad because you can probably download other ones, as I said. And there's different types of ones. I just like to use this one because it's pretty much a standard one I have. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and connect these two up. It's pretty simple. So this is where the thermocouple is going to attach. And for the capacitor, we're just going to put that down there. Actually, yeah, I'm going to attach this one up top. So it's going to be a little bit messy, but it shouldn't be too bad. So what we're going to do... And so what this capacitor is for is actually for decoupling. And it's 1 microfarad or UF capacitor. And yeah, it's just for decoupling, so the signals don't get mixed, and it works at its peak performance. So if you put a capacitor out and you want to change it, you press U, and it'll change this one. So you can go capacitor 1, or if you just do this, so this one's for capacitor 1. I think it's V to change the value, and then you go 0.1 UF, and obviously you can do the rest for this one. These already have it here. So what we're going to do is hook these up, and I have this actually drawn down because these are different on the footprint than they are in the schematic. So the SO one will go to the first pin, or the third pin. The SCK will go to the bottom one, and pin number 6 will go straight across. That's a little bit confusing, and you might think that these are attaching. These are actually not together. They however, you can put the junction in there and it will put them together. I don't want to do that because obviously I don't need to. So for this last pin, it's a no connect pin. You just put the no connect on here, which is just here. You don't have to, but it's good just to do it. Good practice, and just have a quick look. Make sure you got all the connections right. I know this is right. I've done it before. Done it multiple times before. And so after you do this, what you really want to do is go netlist. Netlist. I'm going to turn my volume down for this. It's actually really loud. Max 6675 breakout board, which is name of file. That's cool. annotate sketch or schematic, press yes, annotation, okay, close. And that's how you get the schematic edited on. So next we're going to move on to the component association with the footprints and the symbols. Okay, so I'm back and now we're going to do the association for the symbols and the footprints. So you just press this one here, that's okay. It automatically opened it because it's in the same project file. So one thing I like to do when doing this is actually going to this one, this one, and then this one over here. And what this allows you to do is get like a good overview of what you're doing, or what you have. So I like to do this one when you're just looking for general components. I'm going to go 0603 capacitor, and you get a 3D view down here with a little symbol on it. Obviously you can do bigger, and that just depends whether you're hand soldering the surface mount or you're reflowing it. You can reflow 0603s, however it is pretty hard to do. For the connector, what we're going to do is the certain type of connector I like to use for this design, because I have done it before. I'm just doing it again for the purpose of a video. It starts with B, I'm pretty sure. Yep. So this is like the footprint for the ones that you screw in. Similar ones on the ramp board for 3D printers if you have one. And you just click that, and then the connector for the 5-pin. You just scroll down here. Pin array. And this is the one we're going to use, but we're not going to use that exact one, obviously. So 5x1, that's the one we want. So we just double click that. You can press enter or double click, it doesn't matter. For the Max 6675, yeah, I keep getting confused. It's the SO8 package, so I don't know if it's actually in this. Yeah, it is. So that's the IC for the Max 6675. It's going to go SO8, and that's cool. So what we do now is just save it, and we're going to move into the next process. Okay, now we're at the final stage of designing the board, and this is probably one of the most complicated, depending on how complicated your board is, of course. So what you want to do is you want to press Netflix, read current netlist. Sorry. Press OK. I'm just gonna move these all in here. So one of the cool things about KiCad is it actually has this really big area for designing boards, which is a lot bigger than what Eagle has, and it's actually really good in that respect, and it's free. For those of you who haven't seen my overview video, I love that it's free. It's a very good program for how much it costs, which is essentially nothing. So there's a couple things. It's pretty similar to how Eagle works. In this, highlights the field when you have it, when you're putting down a layer or a track. It's a little bit more complicated in setting up the track thicknesses, but it's not really that much worse. It's pretty good, and you can change the track here obviously if you have more set up. One of the things is that this red one is the top layer, and this green one's the bottom. Now one thing to note, and you can see it especially in the 3D viewer, which is a pretty unique feature for KiCad, especially considering it's free. But if you look, you can see that there's actually the two layers. So this is the top layer, so you can actually connect it, and if you send the manufacturer both sides of the Gerber, and they make it with both sides, they can actually connect the whole wire through this part here, which is basically just a via, and it makes it a lot better for manufacturing purposes. You can flip the IC if you want. You just go that one, footprint, and flip it, and it flips it, and now this is on the bottom layer, but I don't want to do that. I just want to do top layer. But you can flip it, you can do whatever you want. So what we're going to do to start off with, if you press V, it switches between the layers, as you can see here. Or another really cool thing is, if you start off with this one and you press V, it actually makes a via, which is really handy when you're connecting two sides of the boards together. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to change this, and because I sorted this out before, I'm going to go 0.75 for this one. And yep. So as you can see, it's connecting pretty easily. We're gonna get that one. Oops. I like to make them sort of even. It's not super even, but it's good enough. So for this one, I'm going to do fairly thick tracks as well, because it's carrying the current and the power for the board. One thing with working with ICs is that if you can, try and get, oh actually, sorry, my bad. For this capacitor, we're going to want that as close as we possibly can to that, basically because it decouples anything and then gives it a clean signal for the electricity and makes it operate better. And also it doesn't interfere with other components as well, although it's mainly for its own operation. So that's, oh no, that connected wrong. Okay, well now what I'm gonna do is just move this. Okay, so that should be, yeah, that's better. Okay, I wasn't thinking about that. So if we just delete that. So that's one thing with routing as well, is getting the components all lined up and making sure you get the right ones. Some of the footprints are different. You gotta be careful of that. It can be a little bit confusing, but for this, you know, it shouldn't be too bad. Just put that one there, and we'll just route this one around the outside. And it's too easy. So what we're gonna do, you can make these smaller, but I prefer to have thicker ones. Oops. Make these smaller. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring them back down to the default. So that's 0.254. These are just for signals, so they shouldn't be too bad. As you can see, it's pretty quick making a design in KiCad. It's not hard at all, it's not complicated. One last thing I want to show you guys is doing rat's nests. So the rat's nest is for this one here, or it's called add field zone, but some people call it rat's nest, some people call it something else. So this one is going to have a no net, it just won't connect to anything. You can have it set to ground if you have a ground pin set up, which I didn't bother with because it's a pretty basic design, you don't really need to. Also, so it gives you this outline and you just go, just gotta select it, which is not selecting. Oh, I gotta have the tool. And so zones, and if you fill zone, it'll bring you the zone. So it'll fill it up, make a rat's nest. Also, if you wanted to, you can add 1-pin connectors and just put a hole there and a hole there. We can't really fit one there. You can turn off layers, so that's back, front. This one here, the blue one, or the green one, I don't know why it's not turning that off, but it doesn't really matter. You can go 3D display. You can view it in 3D. It's a pretty basic overlook, but it is a really nice feature of KiCad. Obviously, there's no bottom layer because it's not connected, but if you do generate a Gerber file, I'm pretty sure it will put one through. Anyway, there's settings. Also, for Gerber files, you just go, I think it's SVG, yep. You go plot, and it'll plot it out, and you can just send it off to the manufacturer. So that's pretty much everything for KiCad. I hope I didn't speak too fast. Save and exit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, thumbs up. If you don't, well, just comment, tell me what you want. Also, one other thing, that this design will be available to download in the description. And yeah, until next time guys, have a good day.